You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is going to be a very quick edition of episode number 322 of East Central's favorite podcast, Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, the guy that somehow found a way to squeeze us in today, Mr. Zach Burcham. Our guest today is going to be Bash Crider, who is it 323? Did I say 323?
It's 322. You said 322.
Oh, son bitch. Cheat.
Well, I mean, it's not 7 o'clock yet, so maybe it's just an extension of last week's episode.
This is what you get this week.
Mark shuffled out, Greg shuffled, or Bash shuffled in. Sorry.
I'm just here to help with the counting, and my job's done.
We've sent him away. Yep, he's our official tallier. He costs $500 an hour, which, by the way, patrons, thank you. We've been wasting all of our money on our estate planner, Bash, who also counts for us.
But you've all got wills now, so that's worth it.
Now we can die peacefully. This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes will provoke you, other times will make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. No Patreon this week because we have a very tight time commitment because we are a slave to the man, and the man being Zach, who squeezed us in between doing car maintenance and feeding the children, both his own naturally spawned and the runners. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so Bash, welcome back.
Thanks.
We got to say thank you to our patrons who do help us get on the air each and every week. If you want to be a part of the show and help us make that happen, bosshogliberty.com, click on the little Patreon button, or patreon.com/bosshogliberty. Works both ways. Say special thanks to Christy Avery, Jonathan Phillips, and Anthony Meyer, who help us get on the air. All right. With that, Bash.
Hello.
You are a good friend of the show.
Well, thanks.
Noted downtown business investor.
I'm a downtown guy. I live here. I work here. I own a building.
You probably sold your car at this point. You can just live on foot.
I
do your grocery shopping at the Harvest Market.
Just about. I use the truck once a week.
Wow. A tank of gas. His gas goes stale now because he doesn't have to go anywhere.
It's true.
All right. So you're downtown businessman. Since we've last talked, you've become a land ambassador.
Yeah. Well, the last time that I was a guest here, we were talking about the downtown, and we were talking about upstairs apartments and the need for that.
Yes.
The general need for apartments in Newcastle. And I begged the audience, if any of you have access to the upstairs of any of these buildings, please build some market rate apartments. And anyway, I watched the podcast back. I heard the message. And so I went out and bought a building, and now I'm changing the upstairs into apartments.
So you found some actual something to buy.
I did. It was not easy. There are opportunities, but it's not like the old days,
right?
At least according to the advice I get from every time I ask a baby boomer about, should I buy this building? And they're like, well, that's not $1,000 and it's not 1940.
You should be able to trade 2 ham sandwiches.
Exactly.
For that. And we'll have it fixed in no time.
Yes.
Also, the roof would fall in. All right. So you have, in now that you've taken this personal financial interest in the community,
yep,
owning buildings down here, you have gotten involved with the Newcastle Main Street group.
Yeah.
And they are the winner and or recipient of a $2 million Preserving Main Street grant.
Yes.
That's as accurate so far.
Yes, this is accurate.
Okay. And you're serving or will be serving on the board of directors for the Newcastle Main Street group.
So as of the future, I finally put in an application.
Those that show up get the jobs. And I know
Generally,
that you wore, for the big grant application kickoff, you were wearing your, it wasn't your Terhune, it was probably your Hickory jersey, your Henry jersey.
I think they made special jerseys for that event. Yes. Okay. Gave a speech to the judges. I'm not sure what you call them, but the people who grant or deny the grant. It was down to Newcastle and Wabash.
The Kingmakers.
This. Exactly.
All right.
Yep. And so our Main Street program, which should we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
So Newcastle Main Street is simultaneously perfectly named, and it's a terrible name because it sounds like it's either Newcastle or it is a road, and it is neither of those.
Because it includes Broad Street and Race Street.
Exactly.
And perhaps even Vine Street.
Exactly. It is the concept of Main Street, the Main Street of every town. Every town can have a, Hagerstown Main Street, Newcastle Main Street. It's a 501c3. It's a separate entity. Funding from the
Carrie Barrett, a friend of the show, has been on a number of times promoting downtown interests. Carrie is the executive director of the organization.
She is the executive director. There's a board that governs it. It's a separate entity. And it is what does the work for a lot of these grants and things like that. So that's who contacted me when through Carrie's and Emily Hurst is her number one. The two of them and then the other members of the board, through incredible efforts, got Newcastle into the finals for this $2 million grant. And then it comes down to this final presentation. Wabash gives their presentation. It is exclusively their board. Newcastle gives its presentation, and we made it a point to bring the entire community.
Everybody came in.
Everybody. It took place in the old courtroom, and it was packed.
So this was to apply for a $2 million grant that is to be used for what? What $2 million can do a lot of different things, but I assume it's somewhat narrow in its scope.
Yes. So the main thrust of it is facade improvement.
I think it's called facade.
Oh.
Or facade.
Facade?
The facades.
Facade.
The Broad Street facade.
The face.
Which would be a great name for like a panini restaurant.
That would. Maybe face aid, because that's what it does. It's providing aid to the faces of Newcastle buildings.
It's like Farm Aid for Broad Street. All right, moving on.
Great name for a salon, too.
Right.
They do beautician services.
So that's what most of the money will specifically be spent on, but the idea behind the grant is to create sustainability in the historical districts of historical places. So
with $2 million, downtown can look like a classic Americana. Like it can look like the quintessential Main Street.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the hope. What's going to happen is building owners are going to put in applications in order to receive money to improve their facades. The building owners have to pay 10% of the work or 20%. Like, there is still a lot to figure out.
So in theory, say you need $200,000 worth of work done to your building.
Yep.
To dress it up, you could put $40,000 in.
Exactly.
And you get $200,000 in return.
Yes. Which is beautiful because, first of all, it makes sure that the building owners are serious about this. That these are actually passion projects. These are coming from the community. This is the people who love your town, the people who are building your town, and the people who are taking risks on your town are putting their blood in this. And that is then being multiplied, which means that it's actually far more than $2 million that's going to go into the downtown.
You're going to create more investment.
Exactly.
So some of the finer points of this are still being worked out. The community has secured the grant.
Yep.
But now these new board members have work to do.
Oh, so much work. We just had an 8-hour meeting, kind of going over sort of the very bird's eye view. And these OCRA that's providing the grant and the other organization.
We looked it up, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs.
Yes.
Which is like the love it, hate it, whatever. It's the state entity that usually deposits magical seeds and dollars into rural Indiana.
Yep. Exactly.
If you're trying to get financing on something, if you're trying to get your sewers fixed, doing a downtown grant, OCRA is kind of the extension of government that has been stepping in and helping out communities like this. All right.
Yep. And they have been through this process before. I was very impressed with them. They really know what they're doing. Everything from, yes, here's how the money will be spent, but also just community awareness. In addition to the $2 million, there's an extra $10,000 that is to be spent exclusively for, it's essentially marketing, but letting the public know what we're doing.
Which is wonderful to announce that we have a $7,000 ad buy on Boss Hog of Liberty from... Kidding. I'm kidding. No money is exchanged hands. So there's going to be $10,000 in promotion, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. Basically, to create events or processes to get the word out. Explain essentially to everybody who's watching, to everybody who's heard about this and said, "Wait, what is going on?" Hey, here's where we were. Here's how we got this money. Here's where this money's going. Here's a building, the history of the building, the present tense of the building, and this is what OCRA is going to do.
So are there like geographic boundaries or certain people that can apply? How do people know if they're eligible to be involved in this kind of project?
So it is exclusively for the historical district, so the historical buildings. Essentially the at-risk buildings, the ones that you look at that you see and you're like, oh, that's one of those giant downtown brick buildings. And then someone's like, you want to buy it? And you're like, I don't want to own that many pounds of 80-year-old walls. Yeah, well,
140.
In plenty of cases, 200-year-old.
Look around this room.
Right. And that's essentially what it's for is, the downtown is so important. It is its own community, and it also invites the rest of the community. It's something Newcastle can take. It's like Trojan Lane. It's like our field house. It's like our the high school basketball Hall of Fame. It's something that
it's the city's core. It's one of the.
It is.
Yeah.
It's why you come here. If you're coming here from out of town, it's one of the reasons that you come. And unfortunately, like many of those other things, it is huge. It is expensive. It's not the kind of thing that just one person can just spend $600,000 improving the facade by himself and then charge rent and make up for it. It requires, the community in order to keep it going. And so that's essentially what this is for, is to really grow that out. The way we describe it is filling the gaps, fixing the teeth in Newcastle's smile.
So no new buildings to be constructed in this. It's
correct.
It's simply to improve and to continue to create opportunities for more businesses to come in.
Yes.
Now you shared with me before the show that there have been a number of new things that have come in downtown as well.
Yeah.
Very recently.
Yes. So, I mean, anybody who has lived in Newcastle for any amount of time is aware of how much things were crumbling in the downtown. And it is just bonkers where we are right now, where our momentum is.
It's not just law firms and offices and a couple of sleepy little bars, and that's it.
Right.
You've got podcast studio, you've got restaurants.
Say no more.
You have a tab house. You have a couple of key law firms, I suppose,
and
some salons, lots of places to spend money and actually come downtown, coffee shops.
We've got shops now,
things to actually go and visit and participate in.
Yeah, it is. It's
concert
really
venue, 2 places to watch concerts at least. Plus, I hear you play guitar from time to time. At the tap house.
That's become a thing again. I thought I was done, but I play guitar again.
You gonna change your name?
You know what? I should.
You should perform as Greg.
That's a good
It'd
idea.
Be a throwback.
I'm gonna start performing concerts as Greg Crider.
Come see Greg Crider play. You have the Onion Rings crowd just hanging out watching.
That's true.
You could do Little Greg.
Little Greg. I'll be Little Greg. Free bag of rings with every show from Little Greg.
Spectacular. It's throwback night down at the tap house. Yeah. Greg's performing.
So, all of those businesses. This is part of why I will eventually be joining the Main Street Board is, it truly is a community, and Carrie Barrett is the absolute heart of that. I know that Main Street has a board. Emily Hurst is absolutely wonderful. I know that there's other volunteers and staff and things like that, but I would not be able to be where I am. I wouldn't have made the progress that I have made on my building. I'm not sure I would have had the bravery to buy the thing without Carrie pressing this whole thing through. And it has been in this short amount of time that Carrie has actually been, brought in, compensated for her time finally, and building this, that we have just in the last quarter. We got CJ's, Maxwell's, the Good Company is about to open on Saturday.
Manpower has moved downtown. Yep,
Manpower just showed up. If you scoot it Pandemonium has just showed up also in the old Courier building. If you push it back just a couple of months, you add in the Tap House, the Press, Radiance is new to downtown this year. I mean, it is insane, the momentum that we have got now.
So what are the next, I know we're running tight on time here already tonight. What are the next few key dates and things people need to keep an eye on? And if they want to get involved or possibly work towards getting some buildings saved, what do they need to know and when do they need to do it?
So, first of all, in the background, building owners in a couple of months are going to start submitting their petitions, basically their plans. Here's what my vision is for this building. Here's why I think, I would be a good candidate when we do have a lot of need. In the foreground, what you can expect next is there's going to be an effort made essentially to communicate with the community, and present the timeline. Everything that we're glossing over is going to be explained as we learn it and as we are able to implement it. We're not exactly sure what it's going to be. Could be like a live museum outdoors. It could be a presentation. It could be a series of presentations. It could be pamphlets or seminars. But that is the next step, is going to be communicating to the public how this is going to work.
So that's the front end date, is that basically this spring.
Yes.
When is the back end date? Like, this has to be spent, the $2 million, like the closeout of the grant where you say, hey, this is what we achieved.
Right. I don't know the exact closeout date, but about 2 years from now is when we should see the full impact. That's when the building owners will have had the time to raise funds, save up, get the applications through, get the contractors lined up, get the work done.
So 2026 essentially.
2026 is going to be another one of those years, kind of like this last quarter, where you're going to look at Newcastle at the end and say, oh man, this doesn't look like it did 1 year ago.
Yep. And by the way, the population of the town is going to have grown by then, because we've got a hell of a lot of houses that are getting ready to happen, right?
Yes.
All right. And downtown apartments.
Yeah.
How do people learn more about your downtown apartments? What's the timeline for Bash's starting to collect rent checks? Right now you got money going out the door.
I know.
When can people start to say, I want Bash to be my landlord?
I got to turn this around. I got to turn that money around. So it's looking like probably around the mid to end of next summer is when I should have the first phase done, which I'm hoping will be the first 2 new apartments.
All right.
Yep.
Very nice. I assume
got to start somewhere.
This is going to be shag carpets
on the wall.
Yes. So the plan is, these are not rich people apartments. These are not subsidized apartments. I want them to be nice places that people with jobs can live there, feel like they're getting a good deal, and be downtown in the middle of the action. You'll actually be right next door to the Tap House.
Spectacular.
Right above Kai's lunchbox, right above Honey Blonde.
It's going to smell spectacular.
Yeah. Do you like looking good, eating good, and drinking good? Come live at my new apartment that doesn't exist yet.
You can the first night is free. You can go stay over there tomorrow night, test it out, and I guarantee your experience will be better the next time you come back. All right, last thing I want to talk about with you real quick. I saw a very pretty girl on TV selling donuts.
Yes.
I hear you guys, you know each other.
I saw that girl too and asked her out. That was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
But she did say yes, and we're still dating.
And you're still together.
Yeah, we're still together.
So she is a Haley.
That's Haley Cannon.
Haley is a Jack's Donut executive.
She's the marketing director of Jack's Donut.
Now, I know you can't speak for Jack's, but I know you, since you know Haley, you have a source. I was at a merit board meeting last night with the Henry County Sheriff's Department, and a number of the detectives were throwing around some wild accusations, and I said, I will investigate, even though it's their job. They're the detectives.
Think they would know better, right?
I feel like they should ask this. But they said, hey, heard the rumor Jack's isn't making donuts at Jack's anymore. Is that, what the hell? It's not the same. Where are my donuts? And two, this is the real part, is they said that, I don't know if they said they were frozen. And I was like, there's no damn air fryer at Jack's.
Okay.
So let's roll it back. And I know you have to be careful.
Yeah, let me clarify.
But tell me what you can tell me. You're a spokesperson for the tap house, but you're not a spokesperson for the donuts.
I am not a spokesperson for Jack's. That said, I am very well aware of the operation. Frozen donuts is laughable. I'm happy to say
365 days a year, never frozen,
not frozen. So, all right, what that plant does? They make donuts there.
It's no secret. There was a huge open house, like
exactly
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, true.
So Jack's is making and distributing donuts.
That's where they
here in town.
Yes, that's where they make their donuts.
They've grown beyond the walls of the 14th Street facility.
It is. Oh man, it is so exciting. So I've been on a tour through the place, and every single station is just like a little magical unicorn. I mean, it is. You go up to the first place, and it's like, okay, so we're supposed to do 160 degrees. They heat the water to like somewhere between 150 and 180, and then they dunk the stuff in. But this machine is always exactly 160.
Just dead on.
And then you go to the next thing, and it's like, oh, the yeast is supposed to be approximately this, but sometimes the guy screws it up because he's drunk. Like this machine, it is always exactly. It is a perfected
This
art.
machine doesn't have a drinking problem.
Exactly.
All
It
right.
is a perfected art. Your donuts are always made exactly how not just Lee and not just Jack, but like old Jack designed them. So it is a thrilling process. But anyway, as far as like fresh, you've been to Jack's Donuts. Everybody has been to Jack's Donuts. You see behind that little sheet, you got the donut racks, and then there's that sheet, and behind it you have all of the donuts that are proofing. Like donuts come out of the fryer, and then you don't eat them.
They rest.
They wait. So what happens now is literally the donuts come off the fryer, and instead of proofing in the back of some room, they proof on a truck that ships out every single day. Those donuts are fresh as hell.
That very long journey of 3/4 of a mile, from Troy Avenue to 14th Street. Or this is where we're going to wrap things up. They will be coming to the drive-through donut station. in downtown.
Going to have a downtown drive-through Jack's. Again, I'm absolutely not the person who should be saying any of this, but yes,
that's also not a secret.
Always absolutely.
If you drive by, you can see the Jack's, the beautiful Jack's lettering.
We really need to see is a pneumatic tube running from the facility to the pickup, so they're just firing through the tubes.
Yeah,
rocket.
That would be awesome.
That
would be really awesome.
Because we've had nothing but success doing utility borings throughout town here in the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine the tragedy if our Jack's Donuts tube hit a water main down on Riley Road?
You know what that would turn into? The floating donuts.
Oh,
just donuts just floating by.
Yes,
it's magical.
All right,
let me
final thoughts. This is it.
Just final thoughts on that, because again, I am not the spokesman, but I am very happy to say I have seen this process from beginning to end. I live with someone who lives with this process from beginning to end. Those donuts are absolutely fresh. Whatever weird conspiracy theories you have heard are exactly that. You can go into Jack's. You can go into the factory. I mean, I can't guarantee that they'll give you a tour. Again, I'm not, but like, yeah, just the other day at their open house, they were giving everybody tours. Like, there's no secrets. There's no frozen donuts. That shit is fresh.
All right. That's wonderful. Zach, anything final thoughts for you? I know we got to run here in a moment. But.
Yeah. as a reminder, next week on Thursday is the Christmas walk downtown, which is the Chamber of Commerce thing. So we're going to try and go wander around like we tend to do.
There are high aspirations to do a walk and talk.
Yeah. Just let's see if I can.
Thoughts and prayers.
Let's just hope it's not 12. The forecast doesn't look horrible, but if anybody check local listings, our weather this week has been everywhere. It was like 50 today. It was 25 yesterday.
We've had like 17 degrees this week.
Yeah, we've been all over the place. So let's hope it's a nice day for that. But,
all right. With that, we say thank you all so very much. We will see you next week.
Good evening.